Andy Warhol, a name that instantly conjures images of neon colors, repeated faces, metallic surfaces, and a world where art blends seamlessly with celebrity, advertising, and mass culture. His work is everywhere, his influence is everywhere. And whether you love him, question him, or don't fully understand him, one thing is certain. Andy Warhol completely rewired the relationship between art and society. But how did a quiet, sickly boy from Pittsburgh become the most influential artist of the 20th century? How did he turn everyday objects into symbols of global pop culture? And how did he manage to predict, with uncanny accuracy, the fame-obsessed, image-saturated world we live in today? This is the story of Andy Warhol. Andy Warhol was born Andrew Warhola in 1928 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, to Slovak immigrant parents. His childhood was shaped by illness. At age 8, he developed a neurological disorder called sydenham chorea, which caused uncontrollable shaking. For long periods, he was confined to his bed, isolated from the outside world, but this isolation became the birthplace of his imagination. He spent the days drawing, tracing, and collecting celebrity photographs from magazines. He became obsessed with the magic of fame, glamorous people, polished photos, movie stars smiling from glossy covers. For him, these pictures weren't just entertainment. They were portals to a world bigger than the one outside his bedroom window. His mother, Julia Warhola, encouraged him constantly. She gave him paper, pencils, and endless support. She herself was an artist. Known for her decorative handwriting and folk-style drawings, Andy admired her creativity deeply. And in those quiet hours, the hours he spent sketching, dreaming, and studying celebrity images, the seeds of pop art were planted. By the time Andy reached high school, his artistic talent was undeniable. His teachers noticed his unusual ability to simplify forms, to draw quickly, to capture the essence of an image without overthinking it. After graduation, he enrolled at the Carnegie Institute of Technology, now Carnegie Mellon University, to study commercial art. At Carnegie, Andy learned traditional drawing, painting, and design, but he was always restless, always pushing boundaries. He gravitated toward a whimsical, messy, almost childlike visual style. Professors sometimes criticized him, but Andy didn't care. He wasn't trying to paint like everyone else. He was trying to paint the world as he saw it, repetitive, imperfect, artificial, and strangely beautiful. He mastered his early signature technique, the blotted line method, a process of inking one page, pressing another onto it, and pulling them apart to create a faint, uneven line. It looked fragile, human, slightly broken, and it became his artistic fingerprint. In 1949, diploma in hand, Andy packed his bags. Destination: New York City. When Andy arrived in New York, he changed more than his address. He changed his identity. Dropping the A from Warhola, he introduced himself as Andy Warhol, a cleaner, sharper name that matched his ambitions. He quickly found work as a commercial illustrator for magazines like Glamour and Harper's Bazaar. His illustrations were unlike anything editors had seen before. Loose, playful, youthful, feminine, they had personality. Within a year, he became one of the most in-demand illustrators in the city. He won awards. He earned more money than he ever imagined. And yet, something was missing. Andy didn't just want to illustrate fashion, he wanted to redefine what art meant. But in the 1950s, fine art was dominated by large, emotional, abstract paintings, works by Jackson Pollock and Willem de Kooning. Warhol's clean, commercial imagery didn't fit, and galleries refused him. Critics dismissed him. But Andy Warhol wasn't discouraged. He was waiting for the world to catch up. In the early 1960s, everything changed. America was booming. Supermarkets filled with colorful packaging. Advertisements covered highways, buses, magazines, everywhere. Television became a household staple. The imagery of consumer culture dominated daily life. And Warhol understood something no one else did. This wasn't just noise. This was the new language of America. Instead of painting landscapes or classical scenes, Warhol painted things, everyday things. Soup cans, Coke bottles, dollar bills, ads, logos, items the art world would never consider worthy. He wasn't choosing them because they were beautiful. He chose them because they were familiar, because everyone recognized them, because they were shared cultural experiences. His most famous early series, Campbell's Soup Cans, didn't show one can. It showed 32, one for each flavor organized, repeated, nearly identical. Not just art, but commentary. The idea that in a world of mass production, originality itself becomes questionable. Warhol once said, "I want to be a machine." To bring his vision to life, Warhol turned to the silkscreen process, a method used in advertising. It allowed him to take a photograph and print it repeatedly on canvas, altering colors, layering paint, and creating entire series in minutes. This changed everything. With silkscreen, Warhol could multiply images infinitely. Marilyn Monroe in pink, in green, in blue, in gold, Elvis Presley in motion, repeated like a film strip. Jackie Kennedy frozen in grief during the assassination of John F. Kennedy. Each repetition told a story. Each variation revealed something new. The imperfections made it human. The repetition made it powerful. Warhol wasn't just documenting culture anymore. He was manufacturing it. In 1963, Warhol opened his now legendary studio, The Factory. Covered entirely in silver foil, filled with mirrors, loud music, and eccentric personalities, the factory became a sanctuary for creativity, experimentation, and cultural rebellion. It attracted a community later known as the Warhol Superstars: performers, misfits, models, poets, drag queens, and dreamers. Among them were Edie Sedgwick, Nico, Candy Darling, Holly Woodlawn, and others whose lives became entwined with Warhol's art. At the factory, the line between art and life disappeared. Warhol filmed hundreds of experimental movies, many of them simple, unedited shots of people just being. His screen tests captured raw human vulnerability through silent, intense close-ups. His films pushed boundaries, confused critics, and fascinated the underground scene. The factory wasn't just a studio. It was a world, a movement, a revolution wrapped in silver. During this explosive period, Warhol discovered the Velvet Underground, a band led by Lou Reed and John Cale. Their sound was dark, experimental, and groundbreaking, the perfect musical counterpart to Warhol's vision. He became their manager, producer, and visual architect. He designed their iconic Banana album cover, now one of the most recognizable pieces of music art ever created. With Warhol's influence, the band became a symbol of counterculture, shaping generations of musicians. That followed Warhol's fascination with fame was more than casual interest. It was an obsession. He studied celebrities the way scientists study organisms. He watched how society admired them, how media portrayed them, how audiences consumed them. This obsession led to one of his most famous lines: "In the future, everyone will be world famous for 15 minutes." Today's world of influencers, TikTok stars, viral videos, and overnight fame reflects Warhol's prediction perfectly. He saw the future decades before it arrived. In 1968, Warhol's world came to a sudden halt. Valerie Solanas, a radical feminist writer who felt betrayed by Warhol, shot him at the factory. Andy was pronounced clinically dead on the operating table before being revived. The experience left him physically scarred, psychologically shaken, and forever changed. The wild chaos of the early factory era slowed down. Warhol became more guarded, more cautious, more business-focused. But he never stopped creating. Throughout the 1970s and 80s, Warhol reinvented himself again. This time as a portrait artist for the rich and famous, he created commissioned works for celebs like Mick Jagger, Diana Ross, and Liza Minnelli. He launched Interview magazine, a publication built entirely on celebrity conversations and glossy photographs. It became a cultural institution, and Andy became a fixture of high society. Warhol's studio remained a place of non-stop production. Hundreds of portraits, countless photographs, new films, new books, new ideas. He became the ultimate fusion of artist and brand. In the early 1980s, Warhol befriended a young rising artist named Jean-Michel Basquiat. Their friendship became one of the most intriguing partnerships in art history. Warhol, the established icon, and Basquiat, the street-smart prodigy, collaborated on numerous paintings, energetic, confrontational, and full of tension. Together, they bridged generations, merging pop art with graffiti, abstraction, and raw emotion. Warhol also mentored Keith Haring, connecting his legacy to yet another wave of groundbreaking creativity. On February 22, 1987, Andy Warhol died unexpectedly after complications from gallbladder surgery. He was 58 years old. The world was stunned. The art world mourned. And yet, even in death, Warhol's influence continued to grow. Today, Andy Warhol's legacy is everywhere. In advertising, fashion, graphic design, photography, social media, digital filters, meme culture, influencer branding, and the way we consume images every single day. Warhol didn't just change what art looked like, he changed how art works. He understood before anyone else that modern life would be defined by pictures, repetition, celebrity, and endless streams of content. In a sense, we are all living inside Andy Warhol's imagination now. And his 15 minutes? They never ended.